All right, well, in today's video, we're going to be discussing some of the changes that could be happening this year in El Dorado County, just outside the city limits of South Lake Tahoe. If you haven't heard, the current proposed changes because of lack of staffing is for the El Dorado County areas outside of South Lake Tahoe to only have Monday to Friday daytime snow removal operations. So I just wanted to touch base with how this is going to impact the community with regards to being able to get into work, whether that be people covering the night shift at the ER or at the hospital, or whether you're able to get your kids to school in the morning, allowing you to work yourself, or if you needed an emergency service because of a heart attack, or if you had a chimney fire. Just many different scenarios where you need the snow removal crews working 24/7 when we have those big storms. And if you look at the weather, this next weekend should be interesting. We do have a big weather event coming here up to Northern California and the Tahoe area. So we're going to get into that in this video. So before we get into the bulk of this video, I just wanted to bring back some footage from 2 winters ago where, in my opinion, we had the winter of a lifetime. For example, here I am standing in my front yard on top of this massive berm, and just so many examples from this winter where essentially every neighborhood was reduced down to 1 lane because of how much snow there was and how high the berms were. And let me remind you that this was when we had 24/7 plowing 7 days a week, and we still had these scenarios where we were only getting plows every 2 to 3 days depending on the situations. And here we have me driving down my road, barely making it out, but yet again in this scenario we had a plow the day before, but we just had that much snow again overnight where it allowed me to barely get out. And then here, looking at this snow plow, this was after one of the big storms actually last year where we didn't see a plow for 3 days. All right, well, it's Friday, November 15th. We got a fresh coating of snow overnight, so Will and I thought we would take advantage of this nice, beautiful morning before more snow comes. So I also wanted to bring up something a little bit different today, not something I normally do on my channel, but I think it's worth mentioning and talking about because it definitely will significantly impact the winter for Bree and I and many of the local residents in and around South Lake Tahoe that happen to be outside of the city limits, but within the county. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. What do you think of the snow girl? She's just so excited about everything. So the first thing that we need to do is outline what is within city limits, and then we'll go over who is not covered within the city limits and who this change will impact. So within city limits, we have the Gardner Mountain, Tahoe Island, Tahoe Keys, the Sierra Tract, El Tahoe, the Bijou area, the area under Heavenly, and then the State Line neighborhood on the California side. Now here in this image, we are looking at the whole of El Dorado County, and obviously here down in this area, we're in South Lake Tahoe, and we're going to zoom in on that next. All right, so now we've zoomed in a little bit closer to the South Lake Tahoe area, and so the areas that will not be covered that are within the county but not within the city limits of South Lake Tahoe will be areas such as the High Meadow neighborhood, the Golden Bear neighborhood, and then I believe this is called the Paradise neighborhood. As we make our way towards Myers, some of the areas off of Mandan, Apache, Elks Club, and then also the North Upper Truckee neighborhood and Christmas Valley, and lastly some of the areas heading over towards Meeks Bay, which are still within the El Dorado County. Now, one other thing about these unincorporated areas of the county just outside of South Lake Tahoe are that these areas typically are the areas that experience the most snowfall around South Lake Tahoe. So the way that things currently stand is that the county pays, I think, $3 or $4 less than most other kind of surrounding counties and even the city of South Lake Tahoe. So the county has had at least 3 or 4, maybe more people quit to go to other areas where they're going to make more money. Now, with some of our biggest storms in past years, we had many scenarios where we didn't see a plow for 2 or 3 days, and we completely understand that if they are struggling just to keep the main thoroughfares like Pioneer Trail, Highway 50, just those areas that really need to be kept clear, if they're struggling with that, we get it. We're not expecting, on-demand service at any given moment that we need a plow now. But the idea that in past years when we did have night coverage and when we did have weekend service that we still struggled at times to get a plow for a couple days, it is really scary to kind of think about what's going to happen with these changes. And so I don't know, I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not complaining. I know those guys have a super hard job, but it just seems like this is a service that is necessary for the safety of the community members up here. Now, the county did hold a public meeting last Thursday. I was unable to make it as we were out of town, but one of my colleagues was there and basically said that the county has the money, but they just have to, I believe the county supervisors have to approve the pay increase for these drivers so that likely more people will apply and therefore we'll have coverage for weekends and the nights. Now, I've tried to do my research. I've read the news articles here in the Tahoe Tribune, watched some of the videos that KCR3 has done out of Sacramento, and even some of those news sources have tried to reach out to the County Board of Supervisors to get more information, and they declined an interview. So maybe there's more information out there and I'm missing something, but it just seems like hopefully they can find a way to make these wage increases happen so that they're able to get more people applying and filling these roles for overnight snowplowing service. Now you might be asking, well, what could I do to help? And if you happen to live in El Dorado County, I will put up on the screen some of the emails that you can send emails to showing your concern. That's what I've done, and we're hoping that essentially they get enough of a response from the community saying, hey, we really need these services. This is essential for emergency services for people who work here and even for tourists who are coming here. So really hoping that this can change over time, as if we have a winter like we did 2 years ago, I wouldn't get to work, I think, half the days. I mean, it is so essential. So please join me, and if you can, and you live in the area, please send them an email. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure that Willow wants the plow drivers working so that I could stay home with her. Do you like the snow? Willow is growing up so fast. All right, well, that wraps up our hike for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and at least if you are in the county, have a look at some of the information for kind of what's happening with the plow situation. So thank you. I know it's not the normal type of video I do, but I do think it's worth bringing up and talking about.